That's what I'm lying all the time.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy CJ Wilson here with Dope Talk. Got a special edition, something we're going to be doing a lot more moving forward. Kind of mixing it a little bit, get some Kane fan vibes, some FSU fan vibes, just to kind of check the temperature on both programs. It's always good to kick it with my guy, Larion. What's good, bro?
What's good, man? Happy to be back with my bro. Uh, it's been way too long, man. It was like long overdue. So we kind of got backstage, man. I hit my boy up one day. I was like, man, what you think about just getting back together, getting the band back together? So uh, we kicked it, man, and decided we was gonna do something for the people that miss those vibes and provide some new ones. And we just gonna pull up with you guys every week, man, and just talk. We're gonna talk some football. We're getting a little bit of other stuff too, man. Me and CJ, y'all know from before, we both animal geeks. We both big Game of Thrones fans, so we're gonna present that to y'all too, man. And yeah, we're just gonna pull up, man, and just kick all those types of vibes for you. Something a little more relaxed, you know what I mean? Well, not all your insider info, real formal stuff. We call it house divided because this is my brother. We cool, but we just on different sides of the fence when it comes to this football thing. I heard somebody wanted to convert me today because I'm real. I appreciate that, brother. But if I can't simultaneously be real and then switch teams, that would be fake. So
That would be fake, right?
so
That's one thing I will say. You be consistent with the vibes as far as being, locked in with the team for sure.
yeah, man, I've been doing this since a kid. I had a kid ask me this today at work because I had some Kane stuff on. And he's like, "Man, how you from Savannah like me, but you a Canes fan?" I was like, "Man, that's all I ever known, bro. I don't know what to tell y'all no different. I just wasn't a bulldog. It's good to be a bulldog now, but back in my day, that wasn't the greatest thing to be. So, um, but yeah, man, we gonna kick it with y'all every week. We rolling into the season, gonna give you guys some preseason type vibes, and then afterwards, once the season rolls, we're gonna be right back here, and ain't gonna
Giving
be
them
no
the
sauce on it.
right. So, like I said, it's gonna be a little weekly thing. We go, of course, right now it's camp talk and things like that. So we're going to just talk about what we're hearing during camp spring and just camp thing over to the season. And then during the season, of course, we're going to be breaking down the games and that type of deal. Super chat, Sir Larion of the House Liar.
House liars.
I said, "Are you strong?" They said, "I'm strong if you strong." And I said, "We strong then."
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. Yeah, we're gonna get
I'm
us some.
tired of this Jack, but that's a clever name. I like the name.
That was clever. But we're gonna be talking about, of course, the games and how the games play out and what we thought of each team and their performance for that week. And of course, for the Miami, we can go hang out real good. For the Miami FSU, we're gonna hang out real good. Hell, the Florida game is gonna be interesting as well. But yeah, bro, let's
You pulling up? I'm
What's
assuming,
been
right?
going with you, bro? You done moved to Florida now. You pretty much a year plus officially. You're like
Yeah,
you're officially a Floridian now.
closing in on two, man. Ignoring hurricane warnings, but that's like you
Right,
know,
you definitely
that's a Savannah thing too. We arrogant, bro. We like, yeah, whatever. So nobody don't pack up. We just be like, it is what it is. Come on, do what you got to do. And
right.
usually it just blow by. But yeah, man, same gig, different schedule. So that's dope. I'm on weekend schedule. That's the terrible part of it is now I got to work around football every weekend, but at least I get to be back to the land of the living. So
Right.
yeah, regular old things, man. I done moved. I got a live-in girlfriend now. Life is definitely different from the last time we was kicking
Yeah.
it on that show.
You still got the cat?
Yeah, man. No, that's my baby. She ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. Yeah, Spider, she around. She around here somewhere.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
got to, man. How's everything in your yard, man?
Everything cool, man. School done started back in the midst of mid-school football, running like crazy, that type of deal. Had the jamboree last night. Kid played solid, dropped the damn pick, which I was a little pissed off at. Well, not necessarily pissed off at, real excited, for him to have that moment, but ended up dropping it. But overall, they played pretty well. But let's jump into it, bro. There's been a lot of buzz with the Canes this all season, man. Probably one like no other. Mario has I would say Mario, who's always been, in my opinion, the master of narratives when it comes to narratives and certain things like that. But you guys, did your thing in the transfer portal. Of course, Cam Ward is the big addition, the quarterback transferring from Washington State. A lot of preseason buzz and things like that. Gamer, elected to stay in school for another year instead of going to the NFL draft. Preseason ACC player of the year, that type of deal. And Cam Ward wasn't the only guys you brought in from. It's funny too how y'all now everybody want to y'all transfer portal cool now, huh? We rocking with it now.
It's cool when they do it.
Right.
It's a problem when we do it. You know how that goes. You know how that goes, man. Yeah, I mean, and that's the buzz. It's been created before us. That's the crazy part. Like, you got to hear. I hear so much. Y'all boys and this, that, and that. I say, listen, Jack, I don't control their piece of this media, right?
A lot of y'all wanted to actually not be that way. A lot of Canes fans
we scared. PTSD.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. We're afraid of the hype, right? Like, we seen the story before. It's been a while, but like you said, this kind of the highest it's been because the hype is bigger than just media. We've been, right. Vegas put us at 9.5. They ain't got, they don't really do no narratives. They just looking at the roster and saying, with that roster, we got y'all at about 9.5. And honestly, they still got some shadow of doubt because the roster and the schedule should say
11-1.
You're probably, I'm about to say, should be one more game, I would say. I would say just the roster alone will put us at 10.5. But, they got some skepticism too. They worried a little bit about Mario. And will he actually pull it off? You saw it in the coaches poll, right? Coaches put us at 19. And that's basically they saying, yeah, you got the squad, but what you going to do?
You got to see it first, right?
Yeah, right. And I get that.
I guess the Miami narrative in years past has always been talent, right? The issue has been Miami losing to Miami, Miami not getting out of Miami's way and losing to lesser teams. I mean, it's always a talent. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's probably about 3 teams per schedule, depending on the schedule, that probably may have more talent than Miami on an annual basis. But I guess the losses don't add up. I will say, from a talent standpoint, I think this team has more talent than years past from a preseason standpoint. So I guess from the hype narrative, you kind of see it because, I mean, coaching can be an issue. If you have enough talent, you can overcompensate, for coaching. But we'll see. I do think the talent is there for sure this year. But we just got to wait, I guess, actually see it and see if the coaching there, not just the coaching, just the continuity, just everything being put together.
Got to come together. It's always, I saw, and it's been like my favorite little quote to go back to. Kirby Smart said when he was talking about, Oregon. He said, they're not going to admit it, but we just got better players. And better players outdoes bad coaching 9 times out of 10 because you ain't going to be in these situations when you got guys that just wreck plays, that just make stuff happen. Like, everybody go to the Georgia Tech game. Fairly so. He blew it. Shouldn't have never happened. But we also shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. You got Tyler Van Dyke on this coming out. I can't figure out where to throw the football to. And then everything gets tight and then it starts to, implode, right? That's what we got to overcome. So this year it'll be about, you say, he's the master of creating narratives. And I think the key to this team is going to be controlling the narrative. Like, don't get too high or too low. You really got to keep the noise blocked out because everybody hyping you. Everybody's absolutely right. All we hearing is about how great we going to be. Every media outlet. This is going to be a great year for Miami. Blah, blah, blah. If we go out and beat Florida like I anticipate, and that's not a fan perspective, I'm just looking at football perspective, I think we beat those guys, right? That ain't your season. You can't be like, oh, well, we won it. It's a Super Bowl. It's over with. That's our bitter rival in the game. Or under some crazy circumstances where we happen to drop that game, it's also not your season. And that's been an issue. So we got to see if Mario brought in the culture change we need to where it's a win or a loss does not tell the entire season. And that's been the problem.
No, I agree. That's been the problem with you guys. It's a certain game. I feel in Georgia Tech last year, that kind of derailed the season to what it was. You guys were riding pretty high. We got Roll Noel again, master of narratives, loser of games.
Florida State, your brothers. Your team, your heartbeat. We some dogs. We ain't no puppies.
You gotta give me some drops.
Yeah, we gotta get some drops.
I need
we gotta get some air read.
I need to dominate something. I'll send them to you.
We gotta get some air read. I'm hurt dog. We gotta give some Kellen Williams on the fucking soldier. One of the
real shit.
But no, I do agree as far as what the fuck was this talking about?
Just how in the past we've had that hangover
that
from wins or losses.
I agree. The first game of the season, though it is a big and important one, and I think it's an important one for narratives as well, because you can control it throughout the season. If you get off to a strong start to beat Florida, or if you lose to Florida, it's going to be noise. But at the same damn time, it's the first game of the season. If you guys lose to Florida and go out and go 10-2, because you're not being Florida State, right? So if you guys lose,
I knew you were gonna say that. That's fine.
Go out and go 10-2. If you guys go 10-2, you're in ACC championship.
Yeah, I'm about to say you still right there, right?
You still got all your goals in place to win the conference, get a lock, and if you don't win the conference, you still could get, because it's 12 teams, you still get an at-large bid too. So I do agree, winning or losing, it doesn't make your season. You can't say, hell, we beat Florida, let's lay down, because you go to South Florida in a couple weeks after that, and then Virginia Tech, that type of deal. So you still got to play the rest of the schedule.
There's nothing on that schedule that should be scary for us at all outside of Florida State and Florida. Because it's a home game, first game of the season. I see, some of these score predictions.
I know we'll talk about it once the game get closer.
Yeah.
Only concern, first game of the season, that shit's gonna be rocking.
Yeah. And that's gonna be their job to shut them up, because they go home too. They talk about us, but I've seen that stadium emptied out. I see Kentucky do them people like that. So you let Miami get up on it, it's really finna get quiet in there, because it's gonna be a lot of additional hostility in the stands, and it's not Miami fans versus Florida fans ain't gonna be the same as Florida versus Kentucky fans. So they're gonna want to get up out of there if you can get them quiet early. And I've seen some of the scores, but ain't no way you looking at that O-line and they issues there. They start running back down, real check down type quarterback. Ain't no way you think them people beating us by no 20 points. You just don't. You don't believe that. You trying to ruffle me, but you don't believe that shit. Ain't no way in hell.
No, that's not happening. I don't think either team is going to beat each other to that degree. The reason I say because I think the Swamp is going to be on another damn level, and them guys typically play up to the Swamp. One, because it's going to be the first game of the season, and two, is Miami, right? Like, you guys don't play often, so it's going to be an extra buzz for that game. But it's going to be interesting to see, because hell, that's a must win for them too. Because if they lose to you guys,
it's a rough ride after that, Jack. They need it, in my opinion, more than we need it. Because, like you said, we still could clean up the rest of the season. Let's say it go your way, and we drop one more. All right, we 10-2. That's probably gonna put us. Then we'll be, one ACC loss. Probably gonna put us in the championship game for a rematch.
Yeah.
Then again, like you said, everything's still ahead of you. So that's why I gotta see it. But this is probably the most optimistic I've been heading into the season. But how about speaking of narratives, man? I saw Feinbaum, man.
My boys with the villains.
what they call them, the dick with ears.
Right.
He went out there and he took a shit on y'all. Y'all got an issue with Feinbaum?
The issue is, I don't know. I think the issue is, and I think it's and you call me conspiracy theorist, I think it's an ACC narrative that's being pushed out by certain guys. And Chris Carter actually had an interview like a week or so ago talking about how execs and things like that, like for first take, like Skip Bayless whole LeBron thing, that shit was media pushed for a bunch from the big ups, because I guess Skip started, but they saw the legacy got with it, so they kept pushing it. So I think it's the same thing as far as FSU with ESPN. I think they're kind of upset with how we kind of shaking the table a little bit as far as the situation. So they're pushing in guys like Paul, and then I'm not a conspiracy theorist to the extreme, but then you got RG3 being fired like a day or two later after he kind of combated what Paul said, and then they even fired old girl Sam Ponder. Like, God,
Oh, y'all got to go.
the only two motherfuckers that got fired was RG3 and Sam Ponder, bro. Like, come on.
I'm so glad you said that, bro. 'Cause I did not think about that for 1 second. I forgot y'all really beefing. That's right. It's
Yeah,
ESPN versus Florida State. That
right.
do make all the sense in the world. And see,
Well,
people wondering
we gonna
why.
finish unranked. Like, I mean, come on now. Like, look at our schedule. It's only Miami, Clemson, Notre Dame, and I guess you could say Florida. From a talent standpoint, I feel like
That could be competitive, right? That should be competitive games, yeah. And I don't.
At the very worst, I think we win two of those games.
2 out of 2. Yes, I was about to say. I'll be honest with you. I can't see you dropping all war.
Right, because you can look at the team and say what we lost, but at the same time, you just got to look at the schedule and see who we playing.
Exactly, and you got to consider most those teams you just named will probably all be ranked in the top 25 at some point throughout the season. Only, unless there's some meltdown with us or Notre Dame or whatever.
I don't see them again unless Florida beat you guys and start off pretty hot. I don't see them being in the top 25, but
except them, exactly. And the only thing that makes that to me a situation is rivalry game. Outside of that, especially at the end of the year, I don't know if they'll have the depth. I don't know they chart like that. But yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm gonna pencil y'all in for that win right now at the beginning of the season. I know nothing else, but so that automatically drops it down to only 3 potential losses. And if all 3 of those losses, say you did drop all 3, those teams would probably be ranked if y'all lost anyway. So you'll be losing to some talented teams, and a 9-3 Florida State that lost to some solid teams and close out strong on the bowl game. I still see them ended up being ranked. Yeah. Y'all can't mess with them people. That's why we even saying that everybody like, where Miami at? Shit, chilling, waiting. Whatever you do, the door you open, we come around the back door. We just leave it open, cuz. Just leave it cracked. We not bothering them people.
Right, we the Caitlin Clark of the college football world when it comes to that. She the first one to kind of shake the tables, gonna make it easier for Juju and all the other ones to kind of follow.
Yeah,
we run right now, but it's all good. All right,
I appreciate it.
Now go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I appreciate it. I really do. Like y'all in Clemson, but they, like you said, they're gonna try to push the narrative, and they ain't gonna want y'all to be able to have no misstep because looking at you is ungrateful. And I guess like backstabbers or something like that. When the truth is, they know it's a bad deal. They know it's a bad deal.
Like, come on, man. Like the numbers show otherwise. Like it's clear as day. And also, how can you stay competitive with these teams if they're getting 40+ million a year versus what your ACC you can't.
Right.
Then, right, but you got to look at the teams we're competing against.
Right.
Miami, Florida State, and Clemson.
All cap aside, the numbers support that Florida State and Clemson specifically out of the ACC have additional support beyond the other teams in the conference. Like, we know how Miami is. It's up and down. And then the other schools just don't tend to have like the base as much, at least in the football world, consistently. Like I'm sure North Carolina's still bringing some pretty good numbers, especially when they're having a pretty good year. But your NC States, that's kind of Wake Forest, maybe on a great year. But Florida State and Clemson has already been proven on paper to be the kind of schools that you got the appropriate support and the numbers to back why you should be getting more money. And they just like, nah, you signed it, bro. This on some big red, big red in the 5 heartbeat shit. Right. My office hours off Monday through Friday.
Right.
9 to 5. That's it. So yeah, I forgot about that extra hate, man. So yeah, I don't fuck with fine bomb either. So I wasn't even going like that's what I'm telling y'all on this show. I'm not going to just be like, oh, he right and this, that, and the other. I do think he lost some pieces. We'll get into that real quick, but I still just don't think it fell off the cliff like that to where you telling me you don't even see him right.
Mike has gotten the program to a point where he got it rolling. Now it's a reflection of what he wants it to be, and it's going to be a revolving door. I don't want to compare seasons, but it's going to be kind of like, in my opinion, because I think this upcoming year we got 10 plus guys drafted as well. I think 7 for sure are going to be drafted on defense, like for sure. So I think it's going to be kind of like a mirror image. I'm not saying it's going to be like we're going to win the national championship this year. But 2012, I think he had like 13 or 14. So it was a high number of guys drafted. Jameis Winston was a redshirt freshman quarterback. You know, he lost E.J. Manuel. People was like, oh, well, you know, what if Florida State had coming back? Started seeing like number 12 or something. Then, you know, they end up going on their run and still have a lot of guys drafted. I'm not saying this team is going to be a national championship team, but from the draft numbers and things like that, I think it's going to be kind of similar to the previous year. But before we jump into it and get into some actual ball talks, what we've been hearing as far as camp and stuff, we got over 500 people right now that's viewing this live. Majority of you guys on Twitter, please jump over to the YouTube and like and subscribe, because once we start rolling with this, we're pretty much streaming on Twitter, specifically right now, just kind of build the base up, let you guys know what we're doing for this particular segment of the show. So go ahead and jump over to the YouTube, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel so you can see these more frequently once we go during the week.
Yeah, this is just the band back together. But yeah, show love over on YouTube, man. Elon ain't trying to show no love, man. So we can't be kicking it with him like that too hard. Trying to take it on over to the other side, man. We appreciate y'all pulling up with us, though. 500 people is a lot of love, man. I appreciate it. Even those who don't like me. I was fighting with a Noel fan the other day. God forgive me. I'm sorry. I ain't supposed to do that. He had Noel in his name. I said, God, how I got caught up in this today on the Lord's Day. Real quick, actually, before we pivot, and we're going to pivot, how much is the kid worth? I keep hearing he's not worth $800,000. I simply ask, what is he worth? Nobody can tell me what he worth. What's he worth?
You worth what the market pay you. So, I mean, shit, motherfuckers pay $800. That's what you worth.
That's why it's my brother. Keep it real.
Worth what the market pay you, bro. Simple as that. Somebody willing to pay $800, and that's what you're worth.
Exactly.
But some people don't view you being worth that much. That's perfectly fine. But if somebody view you, that's what your worth is. But I do think from FSU's perspective, with Petty, in my opinion, I think he's about 2 to 3 years away. Mm-hmm. If he was to enroll at FSU. Now, Georgia Tech, it may be a little bit different, but from a size standpoint, he has to put on some weight.
Right, I was at that.
Is like a couple weeks ago, and Petty was on campus as well at that practice. So I got to see him in person and things like that. Yeah, he's on the smaller side as far as weight wise, which I don't have an issue with. You know, you come in and get developed, that type of deal. You're fine. But to pay now, it's certain tackles. Now, if you 6'6", 290, 6'5", 290 out the gate, you got good feet, that type of deal, long arms, and I see the vision. All right, let's pay you this type. You know, right. But from, I guess, for FSU standpoint, it probably wasn't feasible to give him that amount. But Georgia Tech, shit, it's whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what I was trying to get the point across is, like you said, you're worth what the market says, A, and B, it's all about, y'all gotta remember, these are like war rooms now, like the NFL draft rooms and free agents. You got to sit down and break down your whole roster and decide where you got to spend the money.
Yep.
Florida State, I have no doubt, could have given him that same number.
Yeah.
They decided, no, we don't want to invest that much. That's not going to be a position that, and especially like you said, can you contribute this year for me? I'm not willing to make that investment, so we're going to move along. But I can't ever call somebody overpaid, because you won't be overpaid when it's your turn. When them people come to you and say, hey, Nicole, we got extra $10 an hour for you. You say, hold on, that's too much money. You know, telling people no such a shit. You're going to take your money and run to the bank. So I ain't hating on no kid, and let them get all they can get. Let's get a little preseason.
Now, before we got a super chat, man. Shout out to KP. Say shout out to y'all boys. Always great to see CJ and my arch nemesis Larion.
Yeah, man. Little hat game.
We ain't leaving without a victory. We ain't leaving without a victory.
Yes,
James, man. I saw his Browns mic'd up the other day, man. Gotta love him.
The leader of men, bro. You hear him? He's the leader of men.
He
really is, though, bro. People really.
I fuck with this guy. I do.
He really do. It's a lot of goofy shit. Don't get me wrong, but you rally around that guy for
real. I would, because I like his spirit. I'm like, you know what, man? You understand it's still a game. We gonna give it all the intensity we got, but at the end of the day, it's a game. We still gonna have some fun with it. But yeah, like all that barking at me like you crazy shit, I ain't gonna really get it for me. He kissed my ass. His ass.
He do it in a relatable way too. I think that's what he gives through. He does in a relatable way. All right, let's jump in. Get some of the info that the people want to hear. Let's talk about some of the strengths of the team. Let's jump into with the Miami Hurricanes. Of course, you had spring practice and it's the fall camp. So far, what you've been hearing from the reports and things like that, what's the strength for the Miami Hurricanes thus far in fall camp?
Without doubt, it's going to be the defensive line. There's just some age, some size, and some depth there. We're going to be able to. We're going to keep bodies fresh, I believe. You know, you bring in Barron. You know, Mesidor, by all accounts, is he a little pissed off because he's kind of been the forgotten man. You know, he had that bad foot thing. This dude literally had to get a special cleat sent in, and I guess they got him all, ready for him now. But by all accounts, he's out there tearing things up. Obviously got Bing, who made his splash in his rookie year. He's put on some additional weight. He's got another year to be in the film room. So it's just I think I wouldn't even call it question mark. It's not a question mark. We don't have maybe that pass rushing defensive tackle, but we'll be stout in the middle. Well, actually, you might go ahead and say Marley Cook, but he's coming from Middle Tennessee, so we got to see how he steps up at this next level of ACC. We know how he did against us. That's how he got a scholarship.
That's right?
he gave us the business, So,
that's great. Hey, I feel it, but no, it's wild though because we didn't play against him much shit. That's how we kind of noticed Jared Verse. We up here scouting. We got a game against Syracuse. We scouting for Syracuse. This motherfucker dominating Syracuse. Like, man, who the hell is this kid? And then long story short,
it is. We end up at the Jets. No, Rams. Damn. Yeah, I see y'all got both of them, boy. I'm a Niners. I said, wait, they got both of them?
Yeah,
Fisk and Verse. I'm like, eesh. And then they got my boy Cam over there.
You got Aaron Donald that end up retiring. Then you flip that over. Then you add those two guys.
Yeah, hopefully they still shit. Nothing against those guys individual level, but as a Niners fan, I hope the team is shit. I hope y'all got that you need. And
you guys got my guy in the second round. I think you guys got to steal that cornerback in the second round for sure.
Who that? Oh, the Niners. Oh yeah, y'all corner. Damn, what's bro name? I'm drawing a blank.
Blank, just that dang.
And you brought it up. It'll come to it, but yeah. So vice versa. What's going to be the strength for Florida State this year?
Ronaldo Green. Damn, I'm tripping. Ronaldo.
Got it. You got dang. Yeah, I remember I texted you. So I hit you on Twitter. I was like, "Yo, how real is Green? Like, is this a real?" I've been begging for one.
You seen what's the receiver from LSU that went top 5?
Neighbors.
You saw what? You saw what? Was it Neighbors? Yeah, you saw what he did. You saw Malik Neighbors did all season, right? Like he was the only motherfucker to lock. And even Jaden Daniels, like that was a damn good defense last year. Hell, we had Jaden Daniels in check in Malik Neighbors. He had Malik Neighbors in a straight jacket for the Malik game.
It's true.
Which is
once you told me that, I was like, yeah, I've been crying.
Neighbors being killed there in camp. Like
I'm hearing that. So what's gonna be y'all strength this year?
All right, the strength on the team it's a few position groups that I think is going to be really strong. Running backs is going to be really strong. Offensive line is going to be really strong. D line and secondary. But I think the strength is going to be the defense and the DBs. We lost Ronaldo Green, like I said, to the second round. Lost Jerry and Jones in the third round, and lost Dent. He went undrafted, but he's doing pretty good with the Chargers. But to be honest, I really think potential-wise, this DB room could be even better than it was last year. Azaria Thomas, you remember back on our roller days, we was talking about him and things like that once we ended up stealing him from Florida.
Right.
But Thomas, man, this kid's going to be probably the best corner in ACC. He was, from a talent standpoint, last year, just from a talent ceiling, he was probably our best corner last year just from a talent standpoint. Like, the kid, he could do it all. He really could do it all. I don't want to say Jalen Ramsey, but as far as like a build, he's a Jalen Ramsey type of build, a strong 6'1", solid, physical, athletic, and jump. Just pretty much could do it all. He's going to be in contention for, I think, best corner in the ACC and likely an early round draft pick. Then you add in Shaheem Brown, who I think is going to be one of the better cornerbacks one of the better safeties in the ACC this year. Third year starting, made a lot of plays for us in the playoffs last year. Fentrell Cypress, this is a guy like, the camp, the practice I went to, he was He was the best corner we had out there, which was crazy to me because we were just speaking about AZ. But Fentrell, he ended up, of course, he was at Virginia, was first team all ACC at Virginia, led the conference in pass breakups, ended up getting him out of the transfer portal. He struggled a little bit at FSU last year, but it wasn't to the degree what fans made it was. He actually had a really solid season, but he transitioned from being zone based at Virginia to being man based, mostly man at Florida State. So that was a transition period for him. Second year in the system, man, that shit is like night and day now, man. He's been in motherfuckers hip pocket as far as route recognition and things like that. So he's trying to have a big year. And Earl Little Jr. too. And it's crazy going back to that damn roller days. Remember we was having a conversation about Earl and then what's your girl name? Tia, screen recording our stuff.
Oh yeah.
Shooting the Fox. But Earl Little Jr., he's making a lot of plays too, man. He's gonna be a guy. He didn't play much at Bama, but from a talent standpoint, he's making plays left right for FSU. So they expect him to have a big year.
Yeah, we wanted him, and we tried to flip the script once he didn't pick us once he was going in the portal, but ain't no sense in lying now. 1 year can't tell the truth of a kid with that type of potential.
Freshman at Bama, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, that's
freshman at Bama. Oh, he didn't play, motherfucker. He's at Bama as a red shirt.
Yeah, like
true freshmen come in and just do their thing at Bama. That's perfectly fine, but you can't knock the kid from a red shirt freshman perspective for not playing at Bama and Georgia. Like those two programs, Ohio State.
You got to get in, get some weight on, and beat out these guys that's 21 years old. Like it's
you got
a little different.
Recruit. It's pretty much how it was back in the day for Florida State, Miami, and Florida at one point in time. Like she was just so fucking low. The kids, people want to get a chance to third year into the program, and then that third year in the program, they ball and go to the league. And you do the same thing over and over.
But to be honest with you, that's the best blueprint. You get to save your body physically. You get to develop yourself, and the best way to go. And I think the right coaches understand that and how to pitch that to these high school kids, because that is still the formula. You supplement through the portal, but you still got to build your base.
Through man. Like it's a development phase of that, where it's like it truly is. Like some kids come in ready to play, that's perfectly fine. But you got some kids like Hakeem Williams, for example. When he was at Stringham, he came out raw because they didn't teach the fine points of being an actual receiver, getting off the jam, running routes, that type of deal. Yeah, you're great, you get there athletically, but you don't know the technical side of things, and you got to develop your body physically as well too. So people try to ride off a kid from just because 2 years in the program they haven't made an impact yet. No, I'm not judging kids until 3 years in the program. Now, of course, you got 6 situations where year 1 he plays right away and he gets it. Year 2 he plays right away and gets it. That's perfectly fine, but that shouldn't be the be all tell all in regards to a kid. Every situation is different.
Yeah, I say this especially in college, man. We get the shiny new toy syndrome. So that's what happens to us every year when you get this, high 4-star or this 5-star kid. Everybody just thinks he's supposed to start over everybody else. They're like, wait a minute, we recruited 2 years ago a 4-star kid that's supposed to be nice, and y'all just want to boot him. He's not ready yet. You give these kids some time to grow. Y'all jump way ahead of the schedule. So when you start a lot of freshmen,
you're right. They forget about the 4-star kid from 2 years ago, right? The shiny new
that is now 20, 21 years old, who's ready to contribute at a bigger level. Everybody's want to boot people. Like, yeah, and I get it for the trolls and stuff, but like, nah, you can't write these kids off after the season. And it happens in your own fan base and outside of your fan base. It's like, bro, have a little patience. Let's give these kids a chance to put on 20 pounds, learn to find the points of the game, and then see what we really got in that type of guy. So what would you think is going to be your biggest weakness coming in though?
Biggest question mark is without doubt the receivers. We lose Keon Coleman, you lose Johnny Wilson, you lose those type of guys. You lose Destin Hill too last in the spring. Torn ACL. I hated for that kid too. All the stuff.
Yeah, he's been waiting his turn.
Right. So, and the couple spring practices I went to in the spring, he was the best receiver on campus during that time. He was making plays left and right. Ended up tearing his ACL. So you bring in Malik Benson, who I think is going to be receiver 1. He's been making a lot of plays. It's just been inconsistent with camp as far as focus and drops. That's the thing. You'll make a big splash play down the field, that type of deal, 50-yarders. And then you run a drag right across the middle for 6 yards, not a linebacker inside. You drop that shit from not focusing. So that's the main issue with the receivers, just being inconsistent. I've been here the last few days of practice has been good as far as being consistent, and Mike has been pleased with that. So that's my biggest concern or question mark is the receiver room and what we could get out of those guys. You got a mix. It's a crazy mix, right? You got a mix of guys who are like upperclassmen, seniors, and things like that. Malik Benson, of course, transfer from Alabama, he's going to be receiver one, but it's a few that just haven't really answered the bell just yet. Upperclassmen and senior that really haven't seized the opportunity. Then you got a group of young guys that's damn good and damn talented knocking on the door. So in my opinion, if the inconsistency, I think Mike Norvell is going to be like, throughout the season, well, throughout the beginning portion of the season, it's going to be a short leash on certain guys if they don't start, producing and things like that. And I'm going to take my lumps. I'm going to take my lumps with this guy right here that got 3-4 years
Right.
left to play, and he can still keep going within the program. But receiver is probably going to be my biggest concern for the team going into this season.
And flip side, where you feel like your biggest strength, I think, again, your biggest, weakness / question mark, I think it's going to be the secondary. Not ultra concerned about the starters, but I am worried about depth. It's a rough game. We brought in, like, let's say a Zaquan Patterson, highly coveted kid, talented kid, but he's a freshman, and you still got to get his head completely in the game. It goes to what you talk about. I think he's well coached, but it's still a different level once you step up to this next level, and you can't just depend completely on your athleticism, especially at safety. You can't get out there freestyling and just making wild decisions, because the minute you're wrong, you literally the safety, and now the whole play can be completely destroyed. So, I'm not terribly, concerned about the starters. I think the starters have established themselves to be pretty solid guys. And we got Damari Brown, who's going to play some nickel, going to play some outside. Young guy that started playing towards the end of the year, but again, we need more reps. We need more film to really know who he is. Yeah, he's highly coveted. Came out of Heritage, a place we ain't had a lot of luck with. Finally got us one out of there. And I think he's skilled enough. I think he's got skills, but again, we got to see it throughout the year. And especially at safety, we lost 2 guys to the league. One finally went to linebacker. God knows what took that freaking long to make it happen. Matter of fact, I was watching that game. He's making plays against my Niners. Now, it wasn't the starter, but still. It's like, yeah, this thing should have been, man. So I'm concerned there. Yeah, if we get a little banged up here and there, there's no snaps really there for the majority of those guys. I won't say no snaps, not a plethora of snaps between those guys. And when we got to go to Marquise Williams, who still can't gain any weight, great ball hawking guy, but he's a liability in the run game for sure. So we don't really want to have him out there too much other than spelling here and there, because I guarantee you teams going to try to attack, him being just a smaller frame guy that over these years still hasn't put on any substantial weight. So we're going to have to depend on the front end to take care of the back end in certain instances. When you look at that portion of the game, should take care of the back end, but there's going to be times where secondary's got to do their job too, and so that'll be my biggest question mark / concern coming into the season.
All right, give me your pleasant surprise thus far in fall camp. Which player has been making plays that you really didn't anticipate kind of coming into the season? Which guy?
I gotta go. OJ Frederick. Man, a lot about this kid. Could be a guy that in his freshman year could end up cracking that rotation if these corners don't show improve. Like, everything I'm hearing about this kid is he's got that frame kind of like we had with a DJ Ivy, a guy who took a while, got drafted super late, but did make the Bengals. He's got that same type of frame. The story almost seems similar too. Not necessarily the biggest or greatest offers, but they saying his attack to the game, the way he approaches the game, he's dog. He's got a dog mentality already with upperclassmen. Like, he's not backing down. Of course, like any freshman, especially at corner, got to clean up some of the handsy stuff, that type deal. But the early reviews are this really could be a guy that could pitch in this season and maybe help with some of those concerns I have in the secondary. How about y'all? What's your biggest kind of who kind of surprised you so far, or what has surprised you so far?
Yeah, Cam Riley, transfer linebacker from Auburn. He pretty much kind of saved the day in a lot of aspects. I think Cam Riley probably, when it's all said and done from like a positional need, probably our most important transfer we got last year. He's a guy that didn't even come in the spring, came into the summer. We lost, we ended up losing Tatum Bethune, ended up being drafted by the 49ers. Actually, he's doing pretty damn good for the 49ers. Tatum Bethune's out there in the Bay with the 49ers, and Kalen DeLoach, the other starter, he's out there. He's down in Tampa playing well for the Bucks. So we lost two linebackers last year. And we know as far as what Randy Shannon's been doing as far as recruiting the room, right? It's a lot more has to be desired as far as recruitment for the linebacker room. So you bring in Cam Riley. This kid is 6'5", I think he's going to be 6'4" and some change legit at NFL Combine, around 240, a specimen at linebacker to go along with DJ Lundy, who's a great linebacker himself, probably one of the better run-stopping linebackers in the country. So that's another thing too. End up getting getting DJ Lundy back from Colorado, so to speak. And he flirted with the transfer portal. That was a big gift for FSU as well. But Cam Riley, he's been a pleasant surprise, making a lot of plays in camp. Very athletic, moves very fluidly, understands the game. He's a vet, plays some good ball at Auburn. I do think he's going to get the best coaching that he's had in his career. We could talk about recruitment all we want to, but as far as coaching and development, I think Randy he's elite. He's second to none.
Randy, man, still a K in the heart, baby.
Still a K in the heart, right?
We see what you're doing, man. Ron did us the same way. You know how that shit go. Ron had them boys out there playing old tackle.
Oh, yeah, Ron, they
can block. I put them blockers up against the nation's top tight ends under Ron. I'm telling you, they would lock somebody up and put their ass in the dirt. That was a for sure right on. I wouldn't worry about that. They get on that edge. A wide receiver don't see that.
You guys got a former Nolan linebacker coach too, and Nicholson. He's flourishing.
Shout out, man. Really like this guy, man. I know y'all coming for him. That's why we already gave him the raise. You know, we already promoted him, right?
So why though, right?
Yeah, I know y'all knocking on the door.
Yeah.
We already know the vibes. Had to do it. I really been hearing great things about what he's doing in that room. The recruitment's been it's been doing well, and they're pleased with the development in that room in general.
Right.
You know, another reason we went and got Alderman too, because people was like, "Why we got Alderman?" I was like, "Well, he hit on Cloyd. He's not necessarily bringing in him to be a starter, but they're looking to do big things this year. So that's why they brought him in and to help fill that position, whatever." But
so Cam for me though, and just another one that's like a side guy, Martin. I guess would be a surprise, so to speak. I guess kind of a surprise due to the fact of which how can I put this? The narrative that's kind of being painted for this kid, another guy who just a redshirt freshman going to a sophomore year. But Marvin Jones Jr., bro, like he was good as advertised.
As advertised, huh? Yeah.
6'5", 245, 250, and he athletic is like he can move, man. Him and Pat Pay, them boys gonna be a problem at D. And I don't think it's gonna be any drop off with losing Verse. You lose a guy like Verse and Fifth, top end guys 100%, right? But you replace Verse, well, you get Pat Pay, who's a year older, bigger. He was around 235 last year. He's 255 now. So Pat Pay is a more seasoned guy. You bring in Marvin Jones, who I expect to have a really big year. Josh Farmer, who's one of the better defensive tackles in the ACC last year, probably going to be in contention for the best defensive tackle this year. And of course, Darryl Jackson, former Kane, he can finally play now, and he's been whooping that too. So I do think from a defensive line standpoint, we lost some heavy hitters and some top end guys, but from a complete depth standpoint, we may be just as good. But yeah, Cam Riley is going to be my guy as far as the biggest surprise for me during camp, because he's been making a lot of plays. All right, before we move on to who we think would be, like I said, the MVP and things like that from an offensive defense standpoint, again, we got close to 900 people right now viewing, so appreciate you guys. Appreciate the love for sure. Make sure you guys go over to the YouTube as well and view from the YouTube channel, like and subscribe there, because once we get into the season, start rolling with this content with the Florida State and Miami Hurricanes, it's going to be YouTube based only. So go ahead and get over there now, so you get all this content once the time comes. All right. You guys can click on my Twitter profile. The link is in my description of Dope Talk. So go ahead and hit that link and subscribe right away. It takes 10 seconds. We'll be good to go.
For shizzle. The boys is back. I'm glad y'all pulled up for us, man.
Yeah,
Even
man.
y'all who don't like me, I love you. Everybody
That's
who
crazy.
don't like me, I love you.
People talking about, no, I'm not going to support because not you rock with CJ. I don't like CJ. That's crazy.
That just means you're good at your job, dog. That's all.
Good job. It'll be trolling, bro. But most of the time, I don't chill with that too. I don't troll as much. I troll in certain aspects.
Yeah.
I just scale back a little bit. Like, damn, y'all still got hate for me? Like you said,
yeah.
But it's all love, fans. Like, I rock with a lot of Miami fans. Larion's my guy. There's a lot of guys on the Miami Hurricanes side that I rock with. My boy D-Rob. Like, we cool. Kwame, we chop up an actual person and stuff like that. So I'm a cool guy, Miami Hurricanes fans. Jump to the super chat real quick. Shout out to my boy KP. Hey, CJ, how much should we raise to rent that dope this year? Boy, still talking reckless, even though we putting them belt to ass. We got to raise it by 8%, man. It's inflation right now going on, so we got to stick up with the current prices, man. Inflation, too, so we got to start charging these motherfuckers as well, too, bro. I'm with you, KP.
KP.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Yeah! KP, me and you got to put a side bet up, bro. We got to do a side bet. I have no fear. And come outside this year, too, man. You came down there last time. Your ass ain't come out the door. Come on out and hang out with us, man. Come on. See, that's what I say. They talk so bad about us Miami fans. I say, y'all Miamians just don't go outside, period. Your people came in time, man. I was looking forward to meeting you, brother. And you ain't come out and see us, man.
Oh, so
come out this year. Pull it back up
in South Florida, right?
Hey, right there.
We just like Miami fans, huh?
That's what I'm saying. They put it on us. I was like, oh, wait, this is a Miami.
This is a South Florida thing, right?
It don't matter who you root for. Them boys just ain't coming out the house. Now for the football game, they go to live, but they ain't trying to pull up in that heat, man, and sit out there and watch. Especially if we ain't kicking ass.
Hang out live in the office and take one, right? They'll do all that.
Exactly. For sure.
Let me jump into MVPs for the offense and defensive side for FSU. In my opinion, for this upcoming season, I think it's Lawrence toward Philly for offense. I think he's primed to have a big year. Last year, if you go back to the 2022 season, kind of with Miami Hurricanes as well, we used Lawrence toward Philly a lot in the passing game, right? This past year, we went away from that due to the fact, we had Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman and Jaheim Bell. We want to get those guys the ball. So I do think Mike Norvell kind of goes back to that and just having matchup nightmares, so to speak, for Lawrence toward Philly. Get him on the linebacker, that type of deal. He's a hell of a route runner for a running back. Great hands. Mike Norvell said in the spring he gained like 10 pounds, and he's been playing the best ball that he's seen from Lawrence so far in his career, which is a good thing. So I think you have 1,000 yards, all-purpose rushing and receiving all together. So I think from an offensive standpoint, it'd be Lawrence toward Philly. And we kind of saw it in the ACC championship game. We're down to our third-string quarterback in Brock Glenn. True freshman pretty much couldn't do anything. We go to the Wildcat and go with Trey and Lawrence toward Philly and backfield at the same time. And we had some pretty good results as far as that. From a defensive standpoint, I think it's going to be AZ. Zaire Thomas, like I said, man, this kid is primed to. I think he's going to have one of those Jalen Ramsey type of years. Jalen played a lot that true freshman year in 2013 and things like that, but kind of took off that next year with being like the guy. I think this is AZ year to be the guy. He's going to put everything together, and I think he's going to be one of the better cornerbacks in the ACC. And he's going to be a high draft pick, in my opinion.
No doubt. Flip side, I'm going to go. Most people saying Cam Ward. I'm gonna go with Martinez.
Running back.
This kid is again just. I'm hearing a lot of good things. I actually heard a clip on another show. What show was that? Shout them out. Oh, Kane's Insider. Actually, I was listening to Kane's Insider, and it was a clip of Jonathan Taylor, right, running back from Indiana, and he was speaking the Colts, and he was speaking on Like, who is this guy? Because they was training. He saw him. He's like, wait, who is this? So he fits the physical bill. He's done it at the Power 5 level. He played with y'all quarterback, matter of fact. I just think, despite, the narratives are Mario runs it too much. The actual numbers say he doesn't. You can go look at it. I mean, it's just the truth is he don't. Probably the worst he ran it was when they had I forget his first name, Brown at quarterback. It was like his
kid from Boston.
Yeah, where it was more lopsided that way. They was having trouble getting the QB, and they had to take him, and then he wasn't no true well-rounded quarterback. So that's what they had to do. But I don't think we're necessarily going to lean heavily on him. I just think he has the explosion and the break tackle ability that is going to allow him to go out and be a 1,000-yard rusher. I believe this year he did it. He's already done it. In a pretty good Pac-12. That's the thing. Like, I know as fans, we're a little bit biased towards, Southern football, or, even I hate how, like, the ACC narrative is always so trash. But you look at last year, you had a pretty good year as a conference.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to keep repeating that. And then it goes back to kind of what you're saying about this whole ESPN thing. It's these narratives, that, these guys are just, miles away from everybody else, and nobody can beat the SEC and nothing. It's like, pump the brake.
ACC had a winning record versus SEC last year. Like,
who talks about that though, right? Like, it becomes,
nobody. You don't hear about it.
No, you can't compete with them. Well, let's line it up and find out, right? So again, I think he'll be able to a major contributor. I think Cam's going to be able to relax and do some different things, not have to play as much hero ball. And I don't think we're just going to force feed him, because you got to remember we still got Mark Fletcher, who talented freshman that's coming back. He's probably going to need a few more games. Well, I won't say need. Mario say expect him to be full speed by August 31st. I'm hoping we kind of don't lean on him, because it was that Liz fracture or whatever, the foot fracture, and it's supposedly one of the harder ones to ever heal up. So if we can save him until ACC play, which would be, I think, game 5, that would be a beautiful thing to me. So, but I just think his explosion is going to show. And then on the defensive side, I'm actually going. I'm gonna go. It's funny I asked this question. I didn't even think about it until the show. I'm the one who put it on there. I'm actually going to go Mesidor. I think he's going to actually have a great NFL year where he's really going to try to put up some film. Really prove some people wrong. I like the fire he got lit up under him, and the fact that he could kind of play inside and out, a la like Rousseau. Don't get me wrong, he's nowhere near that frame of a Rousseau, but he is very explosive and can play, inside at the tackle position and outside. So when you look at our pass rushing situations, he's going to be a guy that will probably kick inside along with Ruben Bain, and then put some of your edge guys, around those guys, so they'll get to kick in. And I think he could create some pressure up the middle. So that I'm gonna go with Mesidor for my defensive MVP. Look at Dr. Perry, y'all showing love every time I pull up.
Yeah, Dr. Perry definitely my guy, man. Appreciate the super chat. What's good, CJ? Just checking in. Dope talk. Go Noles. Appreciate you, bro. It's that time of year, man. We about to crank it back up 100%.
I'm rich, bitch.
I love the jobs. I'm happy to be a part of the job, man. And shout out to Harlan, man. Y'all know I've been going. Harlan used to work with us when we first started Roll Up. And I'm telling you, bro, I missed you. The minute you left, this shit ain't the same.
It was.
It wasn't. It was not as good.
Producer Harlan.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give my man his credit, man. It's good to be back working with you. I'm happy to be back here with y'all. We're gonna be back every week. And something we're gonna bring to y'all too. Like I said, me and C being avid Game of Thrones fans, we're gonna rewatch as a family, bro. So next show, we're gonna go back to season 1. We're gonna start on episode 1, and towards the end of the show, we're gonna chop it up about each one, man. So we want y'all to join in with us. So when y'all in the chats and super chat, kick it with us about that, man. Something we passionate about. And we're gonna do some animal stuff too, because we got to. It's just what we do. We're gonna do some of the wildlife, wild stuff. Because again, we both just geek out about that kind of thing, man. So, to keep it fun and less, formal the whole time. Keep it light, keep it real. That's gonna be the entire vibe, man. So, expect to pull up. So go ahead now. Go back. If you ain't got HBO Max, you probably need to just buy a cable at this point. CJ, I saw you tweeted the other day. These subscriptions is getting tricky.
It's getting crazy.
Yeah, they keep going up. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. How much cable is
That's right. I had to take a step back. I haven't did it yet. But I got to take a step back and put all this shit together because every other month these subscriptions are going up. Like, damn, it's gonna be the price of cable. Well, more than cable.
More than, because you still got to have the internet to do it. So you paying $75, $85 for the internet, and then you got 7 subscriptions at $15 a piece.
Come on now.
Start doing the math, bro. Some of this ain't adding up right. We're going to just start pirating everything, and then be crying about that. We're on the pirate site. Quit treating people with such disrespect.
Right, I'm trying to do it legit, but keep
trying. Trying. I'm going to catch a virus. I don't care. This is getting ridiculous. They don't care what happened to it, man.
But no, this is kind of piggyback what you said. It's going to be these vibes. It's going to be straight shooting, just real about the program and where we feel like the team stands week to week. And, of course, we'll get into our bag as far as animal talk, that type of deal. That's just what we do. And, we love our throne. So we definitely going to have those conversations, try to, nitpick and have these deciphers in regards to what things actually meant throughout the show moving forward. The greatest show ever, in my opinion, man. And, of course, we're going to talk about some wire. Now, this show is in period, man. Now, everything that you guys enjoyed as far as those side conversations that we had, we're going to bring them back for sure. But, again, you guys got to like this video and subscribe to the channel because we're going to be cutting Twitter off right after the second or third episode and go focus solely on YouTube. So definitely lock in and enjoy the vibes. It's going to be a real fun season.
For shizzle. And with that, I guess we up out of here.
Go ahead, bro. You got it.
Oh, no, I was going to say, with that, I guess we done. We up out.
Yep, we about to head out. Peace and blessings. Again, appreciate everybody that came in and chopped it us with us for this episode. And appreciate y'all coming in and hang out in the chat and the super chat. We're going to be hanging out real good for this season. Again, appreciate y'all.
Peace.